and Lois, the final season, unfortunately. Oh man, episode one, 2 hour series premiere. The end and the beginning. I don't know what that means yet, but we're gonna find out. And it's your boy Icon with a DC television review for you, saying goodbye to the Arrowverse one last time because this is it. Like after Superman and Lois is over, like the Arrowverse is officially over with. It's officially like we're officially in gun territory. Like once this show ends, and it's very sad because like I said, I love me some Superman and Lois, and I wish they could have went on like a little bit longer. I wish they could have actually stayed in the Arrowverse because this is the story of Superman from Earth 2. But, I heard there were like some surprises or something that comes up in the finale. So we're just going to wait and see what happens in the finale. And like I said, before we get started, it's your boy Icon as always with a little DC TV action for you. So before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos definitely, see if you can enjoy some other stuff that I got popping. And let's get started with some Superman. So, it picked up exactly where it left off with Superman and Doomsday fighting on the moon. And while they were fighting on the moon, this went on for the entire episode, and it wasn't looking too good for Clark. Like, Clark was basically getting his ass beat from 110th Street, and there was nothing that he could do about it because Bizarro Superman was just too powerful. So meanwhile, back on Earth, everyone is trying to cope with with what's going on here. Now, it was said because we didn't know we were going to get a fourth season of Superman and Lois. And because everyone thought that the show was going to end after season 3, all the actors from the show basically took other acting gigs, and nobody was really signed for season 4 with the exception of the Kent family. So they ended up getting like the other characters to sign on, but a lot of them aren't going to be in every episode. Like they're going to be, because in this episode, like basically nobody was in this episode except the Kents and Lex Luthor and some weird new girl who I guess is going to be Mercy Grays. I don't think she said her name yet, but she's following Lex around everywhere he goes. So now the first cameo that we got, because again, now they're not normal cast members anymore. So anybody we see now outside of Lex Luthor and the Kent family is considered a cameo. So the one and only cameo we got in this particular episode was the General. So he was, because remember, he got kidnapped by Lex in the season finale of last season. And he's basically like he's being tied up. The woman who he dated on that app, she's been watching over him while he's tied up. So while he's tied up, he's basically talking to her. He's like, oh, you're a piece of shit. Like, how could you do this to me? And he's like, you're the lowest form of scum. And then she's just like, oh, you don't understand. Lex has things on me, and he can make you do all horrible things. He was like, shut your ass. So now, like I said, he's tied up, and then he's being held prisoner. Lex now, he's basically taking a victory lap because he's going around, like, he bought the building, the hotel, I think it's a hotel. He bought the building across the street from the Gazette, from the Smallville Gazette. And he said he's going to live in Smallville now, and he's going to be a part of the town. So while he's there, while he's living in a part of the town, he's pretty much just walking around doing whatever the hell he wants. Like, he runs up on the Kent boys while they're sitting in the diner. He runs up on Lois, like at the Gazette, and he's just like, oh, I thought I told you to stop doing journalism. And then she was like, fuck you. And then he's like, I'm going to crush you, because he said, I got your granddaddy. He said, Superman's about to die, so there's nobody left to protect you. Since you're the one who ruined my life, he said, I'm going to end you once and for all, but not until you see everyone else that you love die. So she's upset now, and she's like, she's freaking out, but she's still going to work every single day trying to get over what's happening with Clark, and she's still trying to do her job. Chrissy was not there. So, but they did mention why she wasn't there, but Chrissy wasn't there. So then throughout another thing, because since we're not getting a Superman and Lois, Clark and Lois dynamic, we ended up getting like back footage from what they were doing, from their history, basically. Back footage of when they first met, when they first went on a date, when Clark asked her, to be his wife for the first time, who she was dating, when she found out that when she did the report with him back in, when they had that old thing where he was doing the report and she was telling like her colleague that she was in love with Clark Kent and he overheard it. They had that conversation. We found out that Lois Lane is the only person Superman has ever had sex with. We found out, we saw the thing where she gave birth, to the twins for the first time. Like, it was just like a whole montage of like clips of going through like their entire relationship from start to finish. So that's a bad sign right then and there when they start doing things like that. So Lex is taking his victory lap. The boys are freaking out. Jonathan's trying to find his grandfather, and then finally they do find his grandfather because Jordan and Jonathan did together. Like they helped each other. Jordan was able to hone in on his senses, and he was able to find his grandfather. And then as soon as he found him, he went in to go save him. Lex buried him. Like Lex basically buried him. Like he put him in the dirt 6 feet under, and he actually put dirt on him and buried him. Superboy Jordan shows up. You know, they beat up the woman. Well, first of all, there was a moment where the grandfather had actually got himself out of captivity, and he punched the woman in the face. And then later on, when they ended up catching him and knocked him out and put him in the grave, because they're just like, well, since you're going to escape, I guess we might as well kill you. When they put him in the grave, and then Superboy shows up to try to like save her granddaddy, he punched her in the face. So I actually started feeling bad for this poor lady, because it's like twice she got slapped up. But but then, like he beat up the big dude. He rescued his grandfather. They brought the grandfather to the DOE, and now he's under DOE protection. I still think he's going to die, because out of all the characters, out of all the cameos, out of all the characters that are supposed to be returning for this season, one of them's not going to make it. And I feel like the grandfather is going to be the one who's not going to make it, because they kept saying that Lex is Lex, and he's so powerful. He has his hands on everything. Like he has a piece of every single pie. So I would like to believe he has people that work for him in the DEO. And I think that one of those members of the DEO is going to end up sneaking in the room and killing the granddad. But more on that later, because he's still alive. So finally, now that they've rescued the grandfather, they're all in town. And then that's when we get the final scene of where Superman is fighting Doomsday. And when Superman was like leaned up against a rock, Doomsday was like flying towards his direction. And then Superman basically mustered all the strength he possibly could to do one optic blast to try to kill him. And it didn't work, because Doomsday fought through it, punched a hole in his chest, literally ripped his heart out. Because the thing is, when Lex said in the last season, "Bring me his heart," I didn't think he was dead ass serious. Like, I didn't literally think he meant his heart, like, give me his heart. Like, he punched a hole in his chest and literally took his heart out of his chest and brought it to Lex Luthor. And then he dropped down onto the streets, and then he took Superman's lifeless carcass and he dropped it on the floor, for Lois and them to see. And then when Lois saw it, she was like, "Oh my God!" And then this is the part that killed me, because when he dropped Superman's body in the middle of the street with a hole in his chest, and then Lois and the boys saw his body, and then Lois and the boys ran over to him and started crying, and they were like, "Oh my God." The townspeople were watching the whole thing, so I was like, shit, the secret's out, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore because he's dead. But people were just like looking, and I'm just like, y'all need to get him out of here. And, but then it ended, and then, while they were crying over Superman's dead body, Lois looked across the street, because she saw the hotel that Lex was currently living in, which was pointed at the Gotham Gazette, at the Smallville Gazette. It was pointed at the Gazette. Lois was just there, like, grieving in pain. And that was how the first episode ended. Jesus Christ, we got off to a good start. And thank you for tuning in. I mean, it's supposed to be like the final season, and I understand. It's like he's like dead. Like, it's not like they killed him. Obviously, he has to come back in some way, shape, or form, because you're not gonna pay Tyler Hoechlin to sit there and do random flashbacks for the next 10 episodes. The show is called Superman and Lois. He has to be there. But at the same time, it's like, you took his freaking heart. I don't know. I loved it. I mean, I loved it, but not like, I hated it and loved it, but I loved it because I hated it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Episode 2 is coming back to back, y'all. So hit that notification bell so you get notified. Give me those watch time hours so we can get everything popping up on Red Eyes Entertainment. I got the Penguin up on my channel. I'm about to do Lara Croft Tomb Raider up on my channel. We got Agatha all along. And I said Superman and Lois is going strong, so we're going to keep doing that. And I got that wrestling for everybody that likes the wrestling. Like I said, so between that's 4 shows we're doing right now, so we're going to squeeze all this stuff in, and I hope you enjoy it, because I enjoy bringing this all to you. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. I guess I can retire this shirt now because the Man of Steel is gone. But till next time, for episode 2, we're out this. Yeah!